And then again, another picture of where everything ended up. Going on to the combat on the right, you'll see that they pretty much fought it. They fought everything down and got down to just the Plague Priest. However, the Plague Priest and the Doom Wheels and all that on the Black Orcs did an awesome job against that Doom Wheel being Strength 7. So that means they were hitting on threes to hit the Doom Wheel and then wounding on threes, and that's the first time. So apparently there actually is a use for Strength 7. I mean, for the most part, Strength 7 is overkill on most things, but against the Doom Wheel, it works out perfect. So they got the three remaining wounds against that Doom Wheel, and then managed to kill off all the sensor bearers except for the character there. But still, those the Doom Wheel with the impact hits and the sensor bearers did enough. They killed enough orcs that they actually won combat. And I had to hold on a leadership 7. And luckily, the Black Orcs didn't run away from that single Plague Monk. And alright, going on to Orc turn 2. So here now, going on to Orc turn 2, you'll see that the Orcs, the Savage Orcs, they charge into the flank of those clan rats. And that was looking disastrous. And pretty much on the other side, not a lot of movement happened other than that. The Doom Wheel got charged by my other chariot, and then going on to the magic phase, what you'll see here is that Foot of Gork went off again and stomped some rat ogres, and then these rat ogres end up just getting picked on, and then my war machine whittled down the plague monks a little bit more. And there's a Doom Diver hit again, killing even more rat ogres. So now they actually have no handlers, and they're reduced down to the 3 rat ogres. But now they're subject to stupidity. So, and this is a picture of combat. The Boar Chariot managed to beat that Doom Wheel. It didn't kill it in hand to hand, but it did manage to run the Doom Wheel down. And so that's where that is. And that's why the chariot's right next to the Savage Orcs. That's where it ended up after running down that Doom Wheel. So right there, and then the Black Orcs, of course, managed to kill off that single Plague Priest and reformed and are kind of hiding behind the building right now. And again, fighting in the combat against those. You'll see that right here they're separated, and there's 2 piles. The pile in the back that's separated, that's how many my Savage Orcs killed. As you can see, there's something like 22 plus 4 or 5 more in that are kind of off screen. But yeah, so it was literally like something like 26 dead clan rats, something like that. It was sick. So and then the clan rats, they lost combat obviously, and so they were outside of the leadership bubble. They were too far away from Lord Scroll. And so they ended up, without their rank bonus, they ended up being steadfast on a 6. And as it was anyway, they rolled like about an 8 or a 9 and ended up fleeing. And so going on, the next picture you see, they end up getting ran down. My Savage Orcs rolled a 12 to pursue, ran them down, and ran into the flank of the Rat Ogres. So what we have here is this is victory to the Orcs, and the Skaven kind of conceded the game at that point, and I don't really blame him because he was far away from any of my units, and I still had 2 stone throwers and a Doom Diver, and his main leadership bunker was already whittled down. He just had kind of a handful of guys here and there, and they would have gotten shot down by my remaining artillery, and so it was really it was a good call to probably just walk away at that point. Things learned. So thoughts on this game is first off that Lord Skrulk is probably not worth his points. He's 470 points, and for that you get a level 3 caster, and he can fight in hand to hand, but again he lacks a ward save, and so while he might be a little bit dangerous, he's very tough for a Skaven. I think he's got toughness 5. So he is kind of tough and durable in that sense, but without the ward save, he's in danger of a lot of various magic items and that kind of thing. The real downside to taking Lord Scroll is one, he's a level 3 caster, and so he only gets like the 3 spells from Plague, and then he also can't take anything, like he can't take any Warpstone tokens, he can't take a Power Scroll, and so the real downside is he can't swap out. I believe he can't swap out for the dreaded 13th. And as a Skaven player, you want that dreaded 13th spell, and so really Lord Scroll should actually be a lot cheaper than he is, being only a level 3 caster. He should probably be closer to 70. However, the fielding a lot of Plague Monks and the rest of the army seems reasonable. Seems reasonably good. I'm not really sure because I think some of the luck was definitely not on the Skaven side. And the other thing is Black Orcs apparently are very good against very tough things. So go ahead and throw those Black Orcs in against any monster that's on the table. Throw them in against your Doom Wheels, your HPAs, your monsters. That seems to be kind of their bread and butter with that first round strength 7 if you go with the great weapons. Moving on, again, an analysis of the magic. Hand of Gork and Foot of Gork pretty much won this game, hands down. The Foot of Gork just killed so many guys died from Foot of Gork. It's just unbelievable. It's unbelievably destructive sometimes, and it just anyway. So Hand of Gork, and then compare that with Plague, and I think that's really what cost it for the Skaven player was was at that point where he after rolling that Plague and then losing the Plague spell, because honestly, Plague is probably one of your best spells in the Skaven lore. Says it's a great way for dealing with hordes, and without that in the arsenal, it really became the Orc magic then had a huge advantage as it was able to whittle down the Skaven hordes without the Skaven being able to do much back. And then the other thing too is also the Skaven players' poor rolling on the Winds of Magic. So the Orcs were actually able to stop the spells, such as like Wither could have been particularly devastating, say it had been, But again, that's kind of a bit of the problem. And one of the advantages to taking the Big Wa is actually your ranges for your spells. The Hand of Gork, as far as where you can cast and stuff like that, it actually has it might not move them the farthest, but it's got a great range. And also, Foot of Gork also has a great range to it. And so, compared with some of your Plague spells, the problem is if you're running Plague for Skaven, those spells are much shorter distance. And so I think it actually gave me an advantage in the Magic phase by having spells that could hit from a little bit farther away. The last point of interest that I want to cover is that if you're playing as Skaven or you're playing against Skaven or whatever, flanking is key. And again, this is where I think, in a way, Hand of Gork can be super useful, is that it will get you sometimes into that flank of the enemy. And with the Skaven, that's really what it's all about. If you are a Skaven player, watch those flanks and do everything you can not to get flanked. And then if you're playing Skaven, that's how you beat Skaven, is get into that flank, and you can devastate them. Without the strength in numbers and the rank bonus, they'll crumble pretty fast. So that's the report, and hopefully you enjoyed it.